Hi, I'm Greg Hunter. This is the weekly news wrap up here on USAWatchdog.com for Friday, February 9th, 2018, the WNW 321. Folks, I'm only going to talk about one story. Oh, there's different things that apply to this story and a lot of things that are subsequent to this story, but I'm only going to talk about one story because I think it's a turning point story. And when I read this today, I went, oh, whoa. And I'm going to set you up with the story, and then I'm going to give you my analysis of the story as I'm going and afterwards. And let's just start with this. This is a stunning story. FBI informant testifies Moscow routed millions to Clinton Foundation in Russian uranium dominance strategy. Russia wanted to dominate the uranium business. This is Zero Hedge. It's a composite, but a lot of people have done good work like Circuit.com and also The Hill. Great work done. Undercover FBI informant William Campbell has given written testimony to congressional investigators. This is just the setup, folks. Let's go on here. Campbell was a highly valued CIA and FBI asset deeply embedded in the Russian nuclear industry while Robert Mueller was director of the FBI. Keep that in mind, Robert Mueller was director of the FBI, and yet he let, as I've said many times, the Uranium One deal go through. There's no way he didn't know this. Campbell was required by Russians under threat to launder large sums of money, which allowed the FBI to uncover a massive Russian nuclear money laundering apparatus. He collected over 5,000 documents, along with video evidence, and briefs over a 6-year period, some of which detail efforts by Moscow to route money to the Clinton Foundation. And we know that happened. A lot of money, in the millions of dollars. The Obama FBI knew about the bribery scheme in great detail because of the 6-year undercover investigation that started in 2006. This was a long, drawn-out deal. Robert Mueller, the then FBI director, knew all about it. He's the guy on the witch hunt for Donald Trump. And he let this go through. I think that's treason in my book. You let the Russians have nuclear interest, yet the administration still approved the Uranium One deal. And he let that, as I said, go through. Let's go on. Campbell told congressional investigators that Uranium One deal, that the Uranium One deal, along with billions of other uranium contracts inside the United States. So Uranium One is just the tip of the iceberg. Inside the United States during the Obama administration was part of a Russian uranium dominance strategy involving Tenex and its American arm Tenem, both subsidiaries of the state-owned Russian energy company Rosatom. We go on. This is a guy with 5,000 pages of documents and video and eyewitness testimony of all this going on over a 6-year period. And yet the Uranium One deal went through, even though he documented espionage, kickbacks, extortion. I think treason, fraud, no doubt. Campbell says that Russian nuclear officials told him of a scheme to route millions of dollars to the Clinton Global Initiative, that's the CGI, through a lobbying firm, ARPCO, which was expected to funnel a portion of its annual $3 million lobbying fee to the charity. And if you remember, the Clinton cash book said $145 million was given in donations, quote unquote, to the Clinton charity in connection with the Uranium One deal. You may remember also that former President Clinton was over in Russia giving a $500,000 speech, and the person that paid him was the banker doing the deal of the Uranium One deal, a $500,000 speech fee. But let's call it what it is: bribery and treason. Who knew about all this? Well, we know the FBI knew. We know the CIA knew. We know the DOJ knew. We know the State Department knew under Hillary Clinton. And, hey, listen, I think the IRS knew. After all, the Clinton Foundation was a global charity fraud. That's what Robert Ortel came on and said. A global charity fraud. Folks, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are going to be tsunamis of truth waves. I mean, this one's 100 feet high. And then the next one's going to be 500 feet high. And the next one after that's going to be, 1,000 feet high. The next one coming up is the Department of Justice Inspector General report. His guy's name is Michael Horowitz. He was the guy that Dave Janda was talking about that delivered 1.2 million pages of documents. And one of the main things he's looking into are, although there's a lot of spider webs going off this story, a lot of babies are hatched from this story about the Clinton email server, the unprotected email server. And how many times have I said Hillary Clinton had unprotected servers, that'd be plural, to hide the fact she was taking treasonous bribes to a global charity fraud. I mean, she was willing to destroy 33,000 emails under subpoena because I guess the charge for that would be a lot less than what you would find in the emails. A lot less. She had this server to commit fraud and treason here in the United States. Many people, any country that had, an 18-year-old computer geek could have gotten into this server because it was unprotected. It's like having a screen door that opened inward on your front door, and that's the only door you had. Private servers, unprotected, to cover the fact she was taking treasonous bribes through a global charity fraud. Everybody knew about it. How could they not? The CIA and FBI knew about it. Campbell, the informant, was saying the President Obama was being briefed in the security briefings. He was being briefed about it. Also reports about President Obama, according to the Strzok and his lover, back and forth, saying Obama wants to know everything we're doing. Why? Who ran the executive branch during this time? Was it Hillary Clinton? No, it was Barack Obama. Why was Barack Obama worried about Hillary Clinton? I mean, after all, it was well documented in the book Blood Feud with the guy who wrote this book, Edward Klein. Well documented, all-out war against Donald Trump. They hated each other. The Clintons, Obamas hated each other. Why does he care about Hillary Clinton? In my humble opinion, because saving her would be saving him. He was so deep into this thing, and that's what you're going to find out in one of these truth tsunamis, that this went all the way to the White House. In this book, Edward Klein was talking about how they had the plan hatched in the Obama White House at a dinner on December 16th to unmask all these people. Unmask everybody to try to take down Donald Trump. I think he was briefed. He had to be. That's what Campbell said. That's what the email string says, that President Obama was very interested in all this. Well, they were up to their neck in fraud and espionage and real collusion with Russians and treason. You let uranium, the material that goes into making of nuclear weapons, go to the evil Russians, as we've been hearing about over and over again. You let that go? They had a plan. This guy, Campbell, knew about the plan to dominate the uranium industry. Outrageous. And you wonder why that the people are freaking out about this. What's a few more felonies? This Inspector General report is going to go into the Hillary Clinton. I'm back to that. The Hillary Clinton email unprotected server. I mean, what's the motivation? Well, they were taking bribes. They were selling out America. They were committing treason. And this isn't just a few people, folks. This is the FBI, the DOJ, the State Department, the CIA, likely the IRS. I mean, just the State Department, I think, has 70,000 employees, okay? Let's say they prosecute and this was going on through the Kerry State Department as well. I want to just let you know that. There are lots of Clinton holdovers in the Kerry State Department as well. Let's just say 1% of the State Department employees are prosecuted. That's 700 people. How about the FBI? What's that, 50,000? That's 500 people. How about the Department of Justice? Are you understanding what I'm getting to, how big this is? Just 1%, just 1%. And this idea, I keep hearing Sean Hannity, who's a good guy and he's done great work on this. You know, it's talking about the rank and file, talking about, oh, hey, the rank and we love you guys. You know what? No. Some of the rank and file knew. At the CIA, at the DOJ, at the FBI, at the State Department, you knew. And you didn't say anything. Crickets. Shame on you. You knew. To make up for this, all you folks, the rank and file who watched this go on and said nothing and collect a paycheck while your country was being sold out and while you were watching treason being committed, you said nothing. You all, rank and file, better get out there and help Trump clean up this mess. You better be out there turning state's evidence and rolling over on this people and telling people what you saw and what you were made to do, what you were ordered to do. But make no mistake, you had a duty to say something. You took an oath. And all you ended up was taking a paycheck. Nobody said a word. Rank and file must have seen the attacks on Donald Trump over the past year, and nobody said a word. Let's talk about the Kerry State Department as well while we're in this, the Iran deal. And this is why this is going to be tsunamis of truth coming off this. So now we have the stage set where, well, the FBI, the high-ranking members, were dirty, DOJ, dirty, CIA, dirty, IRS with the Lois Lerner scandal, dirty, Obama administration, filthy, dirty. And then we have the Iran story. Hey, listen, I'm all for peace with Iran, but don't tell me we got a peace deal, we got some kind of a treaty when we don't have anything. Because nothing was signed, folks. That's not a deal. That's a fraud. That's a scam, but that's not a deal. You don't give somebody $150 billion of their money back and get no signatures and get no real deal. That's a scam. And I wonder if they did that because, well, a lot of people took a piece of that $150 billion here in America. I wonder if a lot of people took a lot of that money and went, you don't have to sign it. This is a fact. Mike Pompeo found this out from the Deputy Secretary of State while he was still in Congress. He is now head of the CIA. There was nothing signed. This is according to the Kerry State Department. Along with that, Kerry approved, and he was the head of the State Department. He was Secretary of State. He approved pallets of money going to Iran. Pallets of money. Even though he knew and he admitted that they would be committing terror and killing people with it, using it to fund terror. That means killing people. All the while they allowed, Islamic terrorists to run wild because, these are the people sponsored by Iran, because, the Obama administration didn't want to, mess up the Iran deal, the no-deal deal, as I've been calling it many times. That's just the tip of the iceberg, folks. And when Mark Taylor came out and he wrote this book, Trump Prophecies, and he was out saying there's going to be military tribunals, and I thought, say what? Military tribunals? Well, these are just the agencies that we know that were involved just in the Clinton exoneration, just in the Uranium One deal, FBI, DOJ, the IRS knew about the global charity fraud of the Clintons and didn't ever look into it. The State Department and the entire Obama administration, and that's just this one deal, just this uranium, the stealing of uranium here in America. If I was the president, I would order every single one of these companies that have any ties to Russia, have any ties to this informant, to completely stop them, shut them down, and drag their people off, the executives off out of these companies. I would immediately nationalize them right now. Boom. And you wonder why, and I'm going to come back to this, and don't you think that Donald Trump, he didn't just buffoon his way into the White House. He didn't. He did not buffoon his way into the White House. This is a well laid out plan, and he had to have major help to pull this off. He had to. which I think what General Flynn was doing inside the White House, and I believe he's still helping him. I don't have any proof of that, but I believe he is. He was the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA. That's the Pentagon. The backer of the president is the Pentagon. And woe be all these other pipsqueaks, gnats on the behind of a horse agency compared to the Pentagon. And let me refresh you on this executive order, okay? Please note executive order blocking the property of persons involved in serious human rights abuse or corruption. Now, please note, folks, this was December 21st, 2017. Did you hear Donald Trump tweet this out? I mean, he's tweeting stuff about Rosie O'Donnell, and he's getting into fights with, rap stars and other. Did he tweet this out at all, the executive order? He's blocking the property. He's going to confiscate property, folks. Did he tweet that out? Oh, yeah, that's right. He doesn't give away his plans ahead of time. He thinks it's stupid and idiotic. And you know what? I think he's right about that. And let's refresh what is in this. And not all of it, but just part of it. This is in the executive order, folks. You can read it on whitehouse.gov. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is not QAnon or Mega Anon or some anonymous. No. The United States seeks to impose tangible, significant consequences on those who commit serious human rights abuse or engage in corruption. They laid out bribes and taking property outside the country and assets and things. You mean like Uranium One, like Yellow Cake from Uranium One, really? As well as protect the financial system of the United States from abuse by these same persons. Excuse me? Protect the financial system of the United States by abuse from these same people? Anybody involved in corruption, what do you think Uranium One was? Corruption. What do you think the Iran deal was? Corruption. What do you think Fast and Furious was? Corruption. IRS corruption. Corruption, 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 corruption. So he's worried about these people. George Soros, corruption, sedition, treason, trying to take down America, trying to take down anybody trying to have an exit out of Europe, or Brexit, the British exit out of the European Union. Again, protect the financial system of the United States from abuse by these same persons. You mean like 1,000-point declines in the stock market? You mean like that? That happened on Thursday? Yes, I know that the Senate came out with a Jim Dandy bill that's going to raise spending by 13%. Of course, nothing gets cut. It's I don't know how the House is going to vote on it. Looks like we're going to have another government shutdown. They're going to borrow another $1 trillion. Yes, I know there's a lot of headwinds, but Donald Trump, his plan, I think, is to make America the Saudi Arabia of the world, the new Saudi Arabia in terms of oil and energy exports. That's why he opened up Anwar. That's why all these drilling rigs are coming back to the United States. That's why all these oil work. I have people write me on the Schiff interview saying, hey, whoa, the oil industry is exploding. People are coming out of retirement, lots of jobs, lots of drilling. That's what I think's going on. Boy, that'd put a floor in the dollar, wouldn't it? That would up our ability to pay off our debts, would it not? Wouldn't that cushion the fall? That's part of the plan, folks. Another person wrote me and said that, hey, listen, don't worry for QE4. It's already started. What do you think the tax cuts are? QE4. But he is worried and put it in. This is not ancient history, folks. This is back in December, late December, just before Christmas of 2017. Here's the rest of it, folks. I hereby declare a national emergency to deal with that threat. So let's see. He's worried about them taking down the financial system, to protect the financial system, take it down, and he's declaring it a national emergency to deal with that threat. Folks, when the president declares something a national emergency, that means he can use the military. Oh, yeah, the Pentagon. He can use the Pentagon. It's a national emergency. Those people aren't going to stand by and watch this happen. And they make a heck of a lot less than frontline FBI agents who sat there and watched this happen. And nobody said a word. They could at least come out and said something anonymously. Same thing with the Department of Justice. Same thing with the State Department. Same thing with the IRS when attacking conservatives. The same thing. Same thing in the Obama administration. Same thing. This is the beginning's over. The beginning's over. Hillary Clinton was taking bribes from Russians. Everybody knew about it. Even Republicans, they knew about it. I mean, they collected, I've seen somewhere between, I've heard 4 billion, I've heard 5 billion, I've heard between 1 and 5 billion. They collected billions of dollars for Haiti earthquake relief. And the people down there say they didn't get squat. Fraud. Nobody said a word. Collect billions of dollars for earthquake relief for black people that you say are being taken advantage of, and the Clinton Foundation are the people taking advantage of them, and nobody on either side of the aisle in Washington says a word? Payoffs. Bribes. Fraud. Treason. I'll bet you my paycheck. You're going to find out someday. The reason why they weren't worried about those signatures is because the players were getting a significant cut of the $150 billion from Iran. And Iran said, hey, well, listen, if you're going to do that to us, then you got to give us some pallets of money that we can hand out to our terror sources. And Kerry did it. We have unbelievable fraud and treason going on in the government. And just because the ridiculous fools on the mainstream media are paid to be stupid and won't report it and won't ask any questions about an executive order that you can find on whitehouse.gov, talking about protecting the financial system and declaring a national emergency, and they won't ask a single thing about it. The fools writing about how there's no there with this in tremendous fraud, tremendous treason, with real collusion with real Russians. And now Senator Warner has, he's been allegedly caught colluding with the Russians. Meanwhile, they're telling Donald Trump, you're colluding with the Russians, and not a single piece of evidence involving that. The person running this investigation, Robert Mueller, who allowed Uranium One to go into the hands of the Russians and other uranium interests. Shame on you, Robert Mueller. You are a traitor. You knew this was going on, and you let it go, along with all the other traitor buddy of yours in the Obama administration. And oh, might I add, this started in the Bush administration. Why didn't they step in and stop it back then? There was 2 years of the Bush administration left when this started. Folks, this is the beginning of the middle. And there are going to be waves of truth tsunamis coming bigger than the last. This will affect the markets. This will affect the dollar. But before America can go forward, folks, this has to happen. We can't wink, wink, nod, nod. Oh, it's okay. Nobody goes to jail. I can't. Oh, the Clintons will never go to jail. Nope. No. That ain't going to happen. That's not going to happen. This is unbelievable treason and fraud in America. And it benefits the few, and it punishes the rest of us, the 99% of us, the people. I mean, you think about the New World Order people. You can't have people with a constitution, with a Bill of Rights, and free speech, and guns. You can't have that. I'm going to end with this, folks. Ephesians 6:12. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. You don't think these people believe in Satan? They do. They do. For you folks in rank and file, and I'm going to tell you again, you should be so ashamed you should roll over and help clean up this mess that you sat and watched happen. I'm not saying all of you did that, but many of you surely did. You work there. You work in the State Department. You work in the FBI. You work in the CIA. You work in the Department of Justice. You work in the IRS. Nobody said a word. Don't be afraid. This has to happen. This has been a long laid out plan by Donald Trump and all the people who are helping him, and he has lots of help, mainly from the Pentagon. But I'm hoping he'll get help from the good people in the rank and file that want to make amends and stop this evil. That's the way I see it, folks. And I'll leave you with this. Fear not. Prepare yourself mentally, physically, above all spiritually. Fear not. God the Father and His Son, Jesus Christ, are firmly in control. That's right. God the Father and His Son, Jesus Christ, are firmly in control. And I want to say, look no further than this, because I keep hearing this utter bull crap about how, oh, no, the devil's in control. No, he's not. Not unless you don't believe the words out of Jesus Christ. This is like red letter stuff. I'm going to leave you with this. And then Jesus came to them. This is the apostles. This is in Acts. This is in Matthew. This is after the resurrection. Then Jesus came to them and said, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. You cannot misinterpret that, folks. You cannot misinterpret that. So fear not, prepare yourself mentally, physically, above all spiritually. Fear not, God the Father and the Son, Jesus Christ, are in control. And don't let the PC culture people shut you up. Don't let them steal your chi. Don't let them shake your faith. Thank you so much for supporting USAWatchdog.com with your comments and donations. That helps us out. I'm Greg Hunter. Thanks again. And remember, fear not.